Alright guys, this is going to be my next video in the series that I'm making on helping players improve in the raid teams. And just kind of doing some quick analysis on you. This is not going to be an in-depth, full-blown guide on how to use Warcraft Logs. This is just a simple, hey, I would like to improve, what can I do quickly to find some improvements. So, I'm just going to pick one of my characters here. Probably one of them that's doing not very good. One of my GDKP rogues. Obviously, I could be playing better as Assassination, but I'm going to pick a character that can actually dive deep, a little more deep into. These tools can be used across the board on almost everything. So let's pick the most recent raid here. You should want to go to the most recent raid because it has all your updated gear, has everything else that you could possibly be doing. So as you can see, a lot of your parsers and a lot of your logs depends on your raid team and on your kill times. The 452 I think is a decent kill time. We have some people that are able to 98, 99 here. You know, and this is a split raid, so there is some difficulties. Obviously, I'm playing pretty poorly for my level. This is kind of the first indicator that you're not doing something right. Okay, so if I'm playing 12% here, you have Demos playing above his eye level percentage compared to his parse. And there's other reasons for it too, right? So you have to be res, so you have to do mechanics. There's definitely situations where you will not be playing to your eye level percentage, so don't take it as the end-all be-all. So let's go ahead and dive deep into this and take a look. So here is my damage breakdown, right? You can see it by damage done, and you can also go in and look at casts. Right, so I can see my casts, I can see my uptime, I can see my percentages, right? So my Moonfire uptime was 77%, Insect Swarm was 65%. This is how much time I spent on each eclipse. And this is just kind of good general information on how your damage is being done. Now, the first tool I want to talk about here is your casts and the timelines. So, I think this is invaluable, by the way. You look at casts and timelines, you can see what your opener is, you can see what you're doing, you can compare that to other players. So, obviously, I'm opening up with Fair Fire, putting up my dots, going into my gloves with my Trinket Pop, as well as Serenite Bombing and Starfalling. I'm doing my Treants, and then I'm fishing for an Eclipse. Okay, so I hit my Eclipse here. I was already casting when I did my Eclipse, so here I misplayed. I went ahead and did a Wrath after I was already in Lunar Eclipse, and I caught it, and I swapped over. So here's another misplay as well. Right, so I'm in my Lunar Eclipse, casting Starfire, and then for some reason I decided to cast Insect Swarm. So I know from my rotation, I know that I'm not supposed to cast Insect Swarm during Lunar Eclipse. That's a DPS loss. And here I go and I cast another Moonfire. So this is 2 more Starfires I could have pulled off. Would have been a lot better. Here I enter Solar Eclipse and I'm still finishing the Starfire. And I'm going into my Wrath spam. Go ahead and keep up Insect Swarm. I enter Lunar again, I'm still casting another Wrath. So this is a trend now, right? This is a problem I have. This is the same thing you can do to help you improve and realize where you're making mistakes in your rotation. Now, let's look at another tool here. You can look at your deaths. If I didn't die on this fight, let's look at all kills. So we have, they said I didn't die at all, I guess, during all of this. These are all the deaths, this is the timestamps that they're at. So obviously you don't want to dive too deep into other players, just look at yourself and see what you can do. So let's go back to Beasts. Now, one of the things that I think is important here is that you can compare yourself to other players. So this is a tool I think is vastly underutilized, and let's go over it really quickly here. So you can compare yourself to another player in the raid. So say that there was 2 mages, right, like Scorch, Ugly, and Kebab. You can compare yourself to other DKs in your raid, you can compare yourself to other mages in the raid. This is a good tool because you're in the same raid, same kill time, same conditions. What I'm going to do though, since I'm just playing Boomy and there's no other Boomy in the raid, I'm going to go and search myself. find a fight length within 10 to 15 seconds. The raid size should be the same eye level, and someone in the recent time. That way, gear's up to date, meta's up to date. You know, there's no changes that happened earlier in the tier that could be affecting you now. You do a search. What this will do is it's going to find you a player that has really high parses playing your same role spec along with these parameters. So, I'm going to avoid the Chinese and Korean regions because they have different strats. Let's look at Lathis. Alright, Lathis plays on Fairlina. He has part of the GDKP, so I should be playing at least at his level. So right off the rip, I noticed that he has Scale of Fates, while I have a Living Flame. That might be an issue. You know, a lot of these guys have Rain and Flare. This is one thing you want to take note of, right? If you have vastly different trinkets, there's going to be an issue in terms of damage because of the trinket discrepancy in this expansion. So I'm going to go with I'll Be Now here. He's on my server. Flare of the Heavens and Dying Curse. I think that's pretty comparable to what I have. I'm using Living Flame. But now I'm being compared to this player. So you can see right off the bat, he casts 61. He casts Starfire 61 times compared to my 57. That's where he's getting more damage. His DPS is a lot higher on that. It's almost 700 DPS higher. Wrath, he casts it 19 more times compared to my 70. He casts Moonfire at the same time as I did. Starfall, he got 4 to my 5. Cast Insect Swarm 7 times to my 15. So what this tells me right off the rip is I'm overcasting Insect Swarm. And this is a quick analysis, guys. This is nothing out of the ordinary. This is not super in-depth. You're like, oh, okay, what's different here? Got it. He's doing that more. I Serenaded Bombed more. I got another Starfall in. So he's casting Starfire more. It's probably because I'm losing time recasting Insect Swarm. So, what you want to do here, which helps a lot, I love this tool here, is you go to Cast, you see the breakdown, go to Timeline. Right? Why is this good? Well, compare your openers. So you can see on opener here, I'll Be Now is opening with Fair Fire the same way as I am. He's immediately going into Starfall. I'm using Starfall almost 3 seconds later. He's Starfalling off the rip. And then he's getting up only Moonfire and then fishing for Lunar Eclipse. I also used Serenite and my Hyperspeed accelerators early on. He didn't use his Hyperspeed accelerators until he already went into Lunar Eclipse. That's a major key difference that I could do to improve. This could be the same across the board for any of you. So Starfall, I should be Starfalling earlier. I should only get up 1 dot instead of the other one. Fish my Lunar Eclipse. Cool. I use Hyperspeed accelerators, go into this. He's not wasting time casting Treants. He's not using his trinket because he's using Dying Curse. So, right off the rip. That's a good comparison here. Now, for some reason, he got Insect Swarm up during his Eclipse as well, which I'm guessing it might have faded. He's prepping now, and he's fishing for his Solar Eclipse. Going to Solar Eclipse, refreshes his Moonfire, nothing but Wrath spam. You know, for Solar Eclipse comparisons, we're about the same. But what I'm messing up on that I can improve on quickly is my Lunar Eclipse. So, there you go. And you can do this for almost any player, any class. We can look at buff up times, we can look at the tables, we can look at damage taken. I think this is the fastest way for you to improve, is to use the compare mechanism, find another player. So I can do this for anyone in the raid. I'm going to use Scorch real quick. So let's go and do this for a caster, another caster. You can do it for melee as well. Let's go and do, actually, let's do Simplest. I'm searching for another DK. Show melee. I show the caster, we can show melee, show healer. Alright, so he's using Comets and Death's Choice. Good. So the jungle DK. I think they have comparable trinkets. You can see the cast times, but the real important thing here is let's go to the compare to, let's go to the Timeline tool on casts. So DK opener is obviously much more complex. So you can see he's starting off with a death quill. I'm guessing he pulled more. But then they're doing the same thing. Icy touch, plague strike, into blood strike. Scorch. First 4 globals are the same, except he probably just was running in, so he death quilled. Then he's Semblus is blood tapping there. When he's using a blood boil instead, then you're launching out your ghoul frenzy. He's just going straight into his gargoyle here. So, after that, you can see the army coming out, the pot, the empowered rune weapon. And then you can check your rotation along the way as well. I think this is the fastest method for you to get better as a player. Compare your logs, see what else is happening to other players. This takes about 10 minutes. You do this maybe once a month, once every couple weeks. You're going to drastically improve because you start looking to see what you can do better. Alright. That's it for my Warcraft Logs video. Actually, let's do a quick thing. Let's see Priest real quick. Let's do a healer. Alright, so we'll look at Waco. I know Waco won't mind. For healers, same thing is going down as well. So you're selecting Waco. You're going to search. Healers are different because parses really just depends on who's letting you heal. There's a lot of nuances that go into it. But what you can do, which is the only thing that I think is worth it, is looking at your cast breakdowns. Again, same tool here. Look at cast, you realize you're casting Rejuve about the same amount of times. He's using Life Bloom a lot more compared to Nourish. Right, so Waco's Life Bloom casts are at 11. This guy's using it at 79. Wild Growth, he casts it 32 times compared to Waco's 6. And then you have Swift Mend. So these are quick tips. Now, for healers specifically, there's different dynamics that go into this because every raid team is different. Every raid team takes a different amount of damage, and it's different parts of the fight, right? So Nubrak, so he might just be using it at different times. Timeline doesn't help as much with healers, but you can see that this RE guy is using Nourish right off the rip to just spike on healing. Because I'll tell you what, 10 seconds into a Nubrak, there's probably not that much damage. But he's just casting on a tank, he's doing some tank healing here. Helping keeping the tank stabilized. Good, he's using Life Bloom on the tank as well with Nourish. This kind of just helps show the healing profile and the healing pattern that other players use. Watching what other players do to hit their buttons is probably the best tool you can. Alright, I hope this helps, and I appreciate you for watching.